Okay, traders, it's Wednesday, January 7th, and we're going to do our room recap. How you doing, George?
Good, Bob. How are you, sir? How was your day?
Not too bad. It was a no-trade day for me. I had other responsibilities, but I was listening in and kind of watching what was happening. So, looking forward to your
Yeah.
recap.
No, it was a fascinating one. I mean, somewhat fascinating. We finally we got like we pushed yesterday when you and I were talking. There's the 7,004 on the ES. We finally got there. Thought that was pretty nice. We struggled a whole lot though. Did you see this morning? I guess were you part of the whole thing this morning?
Yeah, I was listening and I just couldn't trade.
Okay. Yeah. We struggled pretty hard at the hurdle. Um, yeah, at some point, I think it was, yeah, right there. For start of the morning, there it was 85. It's like we got to get below there to get any further down, but we also got to get above 96 to get any higher. So it kind of was not the greatest start to the morning just because of where we were at in this cycle, but the cycle is over. They have finished this cycle off finally. We hit the rubber band, so that one's done. Checked all the boxes.
And it was a nice counter trend entry if you were looking for one.
Yeah, I took the counter trend right at the very start of the day at the minor has to hold. So I took that one back to the decision point, and then I think I took the hurdle back down again as 92. Yeah, because it couldn't get through 92. Where was that at? Here it is, 1040. Yeah, we were discussing that at length. Like we got to get above 92. Got to get above 92, even though it had dipped a little bit. Like this is all fine, but we got to get above 92, and finally got above 92. So it was good. Yeah, now it's looking like now that they've hit this, it was such a big scenario. This thing was such a big move. How long have you been tracking this thing for?
I know
Like
that,
4 days?
yeah, the rubber band's been on the chart. I think it was Friday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
Yeah. Okay, so this is day four. So it's always challenging, or at least somewhat on those really big scenarios, right? Like they can do it whenever they feel like doing it,
Yeah.
and they took their sweet time getting there this time around.
And it was an all-time high. It
Uh,
was an all-time high, so I wasn't surprised to see it kind of back off from there.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll see. We'll see how they set up the next couple of days. I was actually just doing some pre-review here for coming into tomorrow, so we'll see how that worked out. But it looks like it had to break back below 6,900 initially just to even get a real true break to the market. Where are we at right now? 61. So yeah, we'd have to drop 60 points or more from here. So we'll see how they do tomorrow. NQ wasn't bad though. That was pretty easy. Had our little box we drew for everybody. It's like it's real simple, guys. Start in the morning, buy low, sell high. Here's your box. You want to go long? Don't even think about it unless you're closer to the bottom of the box. You want to go short? Don't even think about it unless you're closer to the top of the box. And then, of course, they finally did get to the rest of their targets.
And those first set of targets, in full disclosure, they showed up kind of last minute. So down below, right there at the nine
Yeah,
at,
I have in my notes here. I put them in.
at the 9:30. I'm talking about like right after the open. You those were not on the chart at 9:30.
These guys.
Yeah, they showed up kind of late.
Oh yeah, no, I did that on purpose just to let people. Yeah, good point. It's more in reference to like how we teach the actual moves in and of themselves because it's important to know where the last scenario was and did they complete it. So
Right.
yes, you're right. I because it all happened. That was all pre-market. Yeah, because we had the minor has to hold in the pre-market, dipped a little bit back, didn't quite make it to the decision point, and then yeah, I posted those. It's like guys, just FYI, we're already in the move, so be aware. Yeah, like gosh, we were basically at first target as the market opened. So what are you gonna do?
And for the new traders, one of the things I like is George places that first bubble at the actual time that he put it on. So that's why it's easy if you miss today to go back and say, oh, well, that 9:30 bubble that looks like it was perfectly called 3 targets. In all honesty, those showed up kind of late.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because we were just kicking the day off. That is correct.
Yep. Okay.
Yep. And these are just like even the ES here. This is just a repeat of the last, like you'd said, last at least three trading days. I just kept repeating them, going, this is the targets that we're effectively trying to get to inside that box. So just repeat, and finally they got there. But overall, yeah, I mean, very logical. Again, not terribly out of sync with anything. Now, of course, now we're in the retrace. This is where it gets really fascinating because they've taken so much time, effort, and money to get us all the way up here. It's not to say that we can't go higher, but like I said before, they'd have to break below 6,900 to really blow things up on the ES. So we'll see what happens over the next couple of days here.
It was quite a drop at the end of the day.
Yep. Which again, it makes sense. Like if you watch the targets that we post all the time, like the bigger, it's what's the old saying? The bigger they are, the harder they fall.
Yep.
Yeah. Just like that. That scenario has been working for days and days and days to get here. So it's not terribly surprising. Yeah. What else do you think?
That's it, really. It's a pretty quiet day. I mean, there was a lot of good movement. Hopefully, some of the guys caught the trades. Like I said, I wasn't able to trade, which is unfortunate because you come back and look, you're like, wow, the NQ actually behaved pretty well. You know, it's interesting. There was a conversation going on about the wicks and the NQ. And my first year with you, I traded just the MNQ. And that's pretty much all I traded. And then January and February last year, I just had really great months on NQ. And then I think it was March, I just had a couple really big losing days. And I was like, I'm going to switch over to the MES. So I did that, and I pretty much traded the rest of the year primarily MES. And the funny thing is, you know, I'm a data guy, so I got about 14 months worth of actual PA account trades. And it turns out that even though the ES behaves a little bit better, I am not as profitable with it. So I'm kind of reevaluating what I want to do there. My win rate's not as good, and my win to loss ratio is not as great either. So, yeah,
that's fascinating.
It was fascinating to see that data because maybe I'm okay, you know, with the NQ if I just, you know,
with the wicks.
With the wicks, as long as I keep the number of contracts down, I can give it that room, and I was used to doing that before. So, just thought I'd throw that out there for anybody who's, you know, kind of looking at both of the instruments. That was definitely surprising.
Yeah, because I mean, to your point, like you certainly get it goes further faster,
right?
Because obviously we're dealing with a $26,000, you know, valuation versus $7,000. So it is achieving number of points in a much quicker time frame.
Right.
Yeah, you just got to be able to handle the other end of it.
Yep, definitely interesting. See if I can pull that report up for you. It's kind of.
I mean, if I looked at this one candle alone at 1040 on the NQ, 902, that's a 100 point candle. And that's a 5-minute candle.
Yeah, my stop is never more than, I think it's 35 points.
Which it doesn't really matter because that's not how we teach anyway, right?
You wouldn't
like
really
here's our box.
Right.
It's not that hard.
Right.
If you're thinking about buying somewhere in the middle or selling somewhere in the middle, that's when it kills you.
Yep.
Like target down low, and then so what would be the wick here? So 820 was roughly that first target. So you would have had to endure, lo and behold, a 10-point wick. Imagine that. As it always seems to be.
Yes, it does.
Imagine that.
Okay. Well, I think that was a good recap for the day. And
yeah.
Like you said, we're going to try these out for a week or two. And, you know, if we get some good feedback, we'll keep doing them. If it's worth, you know, everybody being able to check in. I know there's a lot of people that can only be here for an hour or two in the morning. And maybe they'll appreciate the recap at the end of the day.
Yep. And then again, just constantly plug it. You can do the chart cast on your own. You can subscribe to that. And so these will just literally appear, the bubbles, the ask holes, the hurdles, everything that we talk about, they just appear on your screen. So again, it doesn't matter what instrument you're using to get in, at least you understand where the potential is for the market to get to.
Right. And for those that are in the room, you've been putting a message out in the morning. I think one day you were actually on at 7 kind of analyzing, and you said, hey, just so you know, I'm casting.
Yep.
So
I'm casting.
That's been very helpful. That's basically when I start up my computer or my Discord is when I see your casting, and I'm like, okay, what's he got? So,
that was my personal New Year's resolution. Like I'm gonna go ahead and just because I wanted to do it on this screen, but I was like, but how will they know if they don't actually get the signal? So
right.
I'll put it in Discord. That'll be fine.
Excellent. Okay, thanks, and we'll see you tomorrow.
All right, man. See you tomorrow. Have a good night.
You too.